Michael Jackson was an American pop singer who died in 2009 at the age of 50. He is regarded as the best breakdancer in the world. Michael Jackson rose to fame as a member of the Jackson 5. He went on to become the best-selling single artist of all time. Thriller is Michael Jackson's best-selling album of all time. He is referred to as the King of Pop throughout the world. Michael Jackson was one of the most famous performers of all time. Michael Jackson was born on August 29, 1958, in Los Angeles, California. Joseph Walter, Joe Jackson, and Catherine Esther Screws had 10 children, and he was the 8th. Rabbi, LaToya, Janet, Jackie, Tito, Jermaine, Marlon, and Randy Jackson were Michael's siblings. Michael Jackson joined the Jackson 5 in 1965. His father was the one who started the band. His brothers made up the group. Michael Jackson's solo career began in 1979 with the release of the album Of the Wall. Following that, he focused on his solo career. Michael's first album, Thriller, was released in 1982. Under his father's encouragement, Michael Jackson's career began in music when he was 5 years old. Catherine Jackson, Michael Jackson's mother, was a homemaker and a fervent Jehovah's Witness. Joseph Jackson, his father, was a guitarist who gave up his artistic ambitions to work as a crane operator to support his family. Joseph pushed his sons to succeed behind the scenes. He was also said to have a history of becoming violent with them. Rabbi, Jackie, Tito, Jermaine, LaToya, Marlon, Randy, and Janet Jackson were among the 10 Jackson siblings who all made their mark in the music world. Joseph Jackson believed his boys had talent and organized a musical group called the Jackson 5 in the early 1960s. The Jackson family's earliest performers were Tito, Jermaine, and Jackie Jackson, Michael Jackson's older brothers. Michael Jackson joined his siblings and became the group's lead vocalist. For such a young artist, he displayed impressive range and depth, dazzling spectators with his ability to communicate complicated emotions. Marlon, Michael Jackson's older brother, also joined the group, which later became known as the Jackson 5. Michael Jackson and his siblings practiced and polished their act for hours on end. The Jackson 5 began their career by playing small-town shows and gaining a loyal following. They only released one single on their own, Big Boy, which had the B-side You've Changed, but the album did not do well. The Jackson 5 went on to support R&B superstars including Gladys Knight and the Pips, James Brown, and Sam and Dave as openers. Many of these artists were signed to the famed Motown record label, and the Jackson 5 finally drew Berry Gordy's notice. Gordy was so taken with the group that he signed them to his label. In early 1969, Michael Jackson and his brothers relocated to Los Angeles, where they initially resided with Gordy and Diana Ross of the Supremes. The Jackson 5 made their debut in the music industry in August 1969 at a special event, and they then opened for the Supremes. Their debut album, Diana Ross Presents The Jackson 5, was released in December 1969, and the single, I Want You Back, quickly rose to the top of the Billboard Hot 100 chart. ABC, The Love You Save, and I'll Be There were among the many chart-topping singles that followed. Under the guidance of Gordy and his Motown crew, Michael Jackson and the Jackson 5 kept a busy tour and recording schedule for several years. The group's popularity grew to the point where they got their own self-titled cartoon show from 1971 to 1972. Michael Jackson began his solo career about the same period. Despite the group's huge success, there was a lot of drama going on behind the scenes. Tensions rose between Gordy and Joseph over the direction of his children's careers, with the Jacksons demanding more creative control over their output. In 1976, the trio formally ended their relationship with Motown. However, Jermaine remained with the label to pursue his solo career. The Jacksons have renamed themselves The Jacksons and secured a new recording deal with Epic Records. The brothers had established themselves as brilliant songwriters by the time their third album for the label, Destiny, was released in 1978. The Jacksons as a group benefited from the hugely positive response to Jackson's solo album, Off the Wall. Released in 1979, Triumph 1980 went on to sell over 1 million copies, and the brothers went on a lengthy tour to promote the album. Jackson, on the other hand, continued to look for new ways to strike out on his own. To promote the album Victory, Michael Jackson embarked on his farewell tour with his siblings in 1983. Jackson's duet with Mick Jagger, State of Shock, was the album's only huge smash. He has received 14 Grammy Awards, 8 MTV Awards, 7 American Music Awards, 3 Brit Awards, 3 NAACP Image Awards, 2 Soul Train Awards, a World Music Award, an NRJ Music Award, a People's Choice Award, and even a Bollywood Movie Award. Michael Jackson's Thriller is the best-selling album of all time, with an estimated 110 million copies sold. The all-time best-selling album, Dangerous, within the first 37 days of the album's release, 14 million copies were sold. The most popular singer of all time. His concerts drew almost 17 million people. The only musician to achieve 4 decades of #1 hits on the US Billboard charts. Michael Jackson's solo endeavors raised more than $200 million in 2000, making him the largest philanthropist among entertainers. Michael Jackson paid $75 million for the publishing rights to the Beatles' catalogue in 1985. Michael Jackson's peculiarities, which included wearing a surgical mask in public, were becoming increasingly well known by the turn of the century. Michael Jackson made news in 2002 when he appeared lost and confused on stage at the MTV Video Music Awards. He drew widespread condemnation in 2002 for dangling his infant son, Blanket, off a balcony while meeting fans in Berlin, Germany. Jackson later revealed in a follow-up interview that we were waiting for tens of thousands of people below, who were chanting that they wanted to see my child, so I was gracious enough to oblige. I was acting in a childish manner. Jackson's reputation was effectively ruined, and his finances were in tatters following his 2005 trial for child molestation. He quickly sought safety in his connection with Bahrain's Prince Salman bin Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, who assisted the pop artist in paying his legal and electricity expenses and offered him to visit his nation as a personal guest. The Prince of Bahrain covered the singer's expenditures and built him a recording studio. Jackson is said to have agreed to work on a new album for Al Record Khalifa's company, write an autobiography, and write a theatrical play in exchange. The completed work, on the other hand, never arrived, and Jackson was subsequently sued for $7 million by a friend for breaking his commitments. In 2008, Jackson defaulted on the $24.5 million mortgages owing on his Neverland ranch, putting him in even worse financial problems. Michael Jackson fought to prevent the auction of some of his personal possessions from the property the following year, unable to part with beloved souvenirs such as the crystal gloves he used during concerts. Around the same time, Michael Jackson, who had been largely reclusive, scheduled a series of concerts as his last curtain call. Despite the claims and rumors of strange behavior, Michael Jackson remained a popular figure, as seen by the enthusiastic reception to his concert plans. Michael Jackson's This Is It tour, which kicked up on July 8, 2009, at the O2 Arena in London, England, sold out in just 4 hours. Michael Jackson, however, would never see the expected success of his homecoming tour because he died in June of that year. Michael Jackson died of a cardiac arrest in his Los Angeles residence on June 25, 2009, at the age of 50. He was brought to the hospital after CPR attempts failed, and he died later that morning. Michael Jackson died of acute propofol intoxication, or a deadly overdose on a prescription medicine cocktail that included the sedatives midazolam, diazepam, and lidocaine. According to an official coroner's report released in February 2010, Michael Jackson had been using sedative medicines to help him sleep at night, with the advice of his personal physician, Dr. Conrad Murray. Murray told authorities that he believed Michael Jackson had developed a specific addiction to propofol, which he referred to as milk by Michael Jackson. Murray was apparently giving propofol by 4 in 50 mg doses in the nights and was attempting to wean the pop star of the drug at the time of his death. Murray was not certified to prescribe most controlled drug substances in California, according to a police investigation. Evidence demonstrated that the standard of care for delivering propofol had not been reached, and that the requisite equipment for patient monitoring, precision dosing, and resuscitation had not been available, putting his actions under investigation. Michael Jackson's death was therefore considered a homicide. Murray was found guilty of involuntary manslaughter on November 7, 2011, and faces up to 4 years in jail. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.